VoIP refers only to the underlying transport protocol that encapsulates voice traffic or voice media streams and allows them to be carried over data networks using IP network technologies or Internet protocols. At its simplest, voice over IP is the transport of voice using the Internet protocol, that is IP. Currently, the types of VoIP applications which are in the use are: 1. Private users who are using voice over IP for end-to-end phone calls over a public internet. These users typically trade quality, features, and reliability for the fact that the service is very low cost and generally happy with the service. The second is business users on private networks provided by telecom and datacom providers. And the third is IP trunking solution used by long haul voice providers. Typically, these offerings at its simplest, voice over IP is the transport of voice using the Internet protocol, that is IP. Working of VoIP. VoIP converts the voice signal from your telephone into a digital signal that can travel over the Internet. If you are calling a regular phone number, the signal is then converted back at other end. Depending on the type of VoIP service, you can make a VoIP call from a computer, a special VoIP phone, or a traditional phone with or without an adapter. In addition, new wireless hotspot in public locations such as airports, parks, and cafes allow you to connect to the internet and may enable you to use VoIP service wirelessly. If your VoIP service provider assigns you a regular telephone number, then you can receive calls from regular telephones that don't need special equipment, and most likely you will be able to dial just as you always have. Network architecture for VoIP. VoIP can be deployed in many different network segments. To date, it has been mostly deployed in the backbone and enterprise networks. The network components are listed in the figure. Let us look at the figure to IP network service provider 1, which is in blue blocks. Call agent or SIP server or SIP client. The call agent or SIP server or SIP client is located in the service provider's network and provides call logic and call control functions, typically maintaining call state for every call in the network. Many call agents include service logic for supplementary services, for example, caller ID, call waiting, and also interact with application servers to supply services that are not directly hosted on call agent. The call agent will participate in signaling and device control flows originating, terminating, or forwarding messages. There are numerous relevant protocols depending upon the network architecture, including SIP, SIPT, H323, BICC, H.248, MGCP or NCS, SS7, AIN, ISDN, etc. Call agents also produce details of each call to support billing and reconciliation. A SIP server provides equivalent function to a call agent in a SIP signaling network. Its primary roles are to route and forward SIP requests, enforce policies, and maintain call details records. Service broker. The service broker is located on the edge of the service provider service network and provides the service distribution, coordination, and control between application servers, media servers, call agents, and services that may exist on alternate technologies. The service broker allows a consistent, repeatable approach for controlling applications in conjunction with their service data and media resources to enable services to allow services to be reused with other services to create new value-added services. Application server. The application server is located in the service provider's network and provides the service logic and execution for one or more applications or services that are not directly hosted on the call agent. Media server. This media server is located in the service provider's network. It is also referred to as announcement server. For voice services, it uses a control protocol such as H.248 or MGCP under the control of the call agent or application server. Some of the functions of media server can provide are 1. Playing announcements, 2. Mixing, providing support for three-way calling, etc. Third is codec transcending and voice activity detection. Fourth is tone detection and generation. Fifth is interactive voice response, that is IVR processing. And sixth is fax processing. Signaling gateway. The signaling gateway is located in the service provider's network and acts as a gateway between the call agent signaling and the SS7 based PSTN. It can also be used as a signaling gateway between different packets-based carrier domains. It may provide signaling translation, for example, between SIP and SS7 or simply signaling transport conversion, for example, SS7 over IP to SS7 over TDM. Trunking gateway. The trunking gateway is located in the service provider's network and as a gateway between the carrier IP network and the TDM based PSTN. It provides transcoding from the packet-based voice VoIP onto a TDM network. Typically, it is under the control of the call agent or media gateway controller through a device control protocol such as H.248 or MGCP. Access gateway. The access gateway is located in the service provider's network. It provides support for POTS phones and typically it is under the control of the call agent or media gateway controller through a device control protocol such as H.248 or MGCP. Access concentrator. The access concentrator is located in the service provider's network and terminates the service provider end of the WAN links used over the last mile. Bandwidth manager. The bandwidth manager is located in the service provider's network and is responsible for providing the required quality of service from the network. It is responsible for the setting up and tearing down of bandwidth within the network and for controlling the access of individual calls to this bandwidth. It is responsible for installing the appropriate policy in edge routers to police the media uploads on a per call basis. Edge router. The edge router is located in the service provider's network and routes IP traffic onto the carrier backbone network. Typically, the edge router will provide many other functions and can be combined with the access concentrator. Subscriber gateway. The subscriber gateway is located at the customer premises and terminates the WAN link at the customer premises and typically provides both voice ports and data connectivity. Usually, it uses a device control protocol such as H.248 or MGCP or NCS under the control of the call agent. It provides similar function to the access gateway but typically supports many fewer voice ports. Subscriber gateways are also known as IADs, residential gateways, or MTAs, bridges or router. The bridge or router is located at the customer premises and terminates the WAN link at customer premises. The difference between this and the subscriber gateway is a bridge or router does not provide any native voice support, although voice services, for example, SIP phones, can be bridged or routed via this device. IP phone or PBX. IP phones and PBX systems are located at customer premises and provide voice services. They interact with the call agent or SIP server using a signaling protocol such as SIP H.323 or a device control protocol such as H.248 or MGCP. Issues in a VoIP network. There are several issues that need to be addressed in order to provide a toll quality PSTN equivalent end-to-end VoIP network. Some of these issues are: 1. Choice of signaling protocols. Second, the quality of service. Third is reliability or availability. And 4 is call routing and number plans. The detail of these issues is out of scope of this video.